Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be part 18 of my Ipet Goto breakdown series. This video is probably going to serve as a final video for a while. I don't really know what else to cover unless events worldwide begin confirming some of the predictions I've made in previous videos. Please go see my previous one really for the prediction of the events culminating from now to the end of 2023 and starting into 2024. This one's going to cover 2024, 2025 and put them on a specific timeline so that we could come back and cover this later on if events begin confirming themselves. So in this one, I really want to cover four major topics. One is a silent war, I think, starting with Russia, which will start very soon. Could even be a blaming of the event that could happen at the end of 2020, well, at the end of the year of the rabbit, okay? Then we get into election year, 2024. I want to cover the specific scene of this birthing of this Antichrist in the orthic egg. And finally, this 1,028 days left protest, which I think is timing perfectly with the Ipet Goto for our war, our global war declaration. So, in this one, just again, the revelation, each one of the heads of the characters is a year. Go time is when she drops the apple, and all the events in Ipet Goto from that point on cover the events from 2023 out to 2030, with each year being cut by the appearance of our human spirit. Okay, so every time we see this human spirit character, it's a cutscene from one Chinese zodiac year into the next. So, we covered in the previous video, I think that this event I've predicted could happen in New York or on some sort of pier system, and there's going to be a collapse of some buildings, okay, between now and February 10th. Then we get the cutscene and we move into this scene with the floating islands of Hawaii. So let's get into this timeline. We'll break each one down in slides later on, but this is just to put it visually. So February 10th, we start the Year of the Dragon. This floating island scene, I think, would have to happen in March, as our main confirmation is this eclipse, which we see above Osama, which would represent the eclipse of April 8th, okay, across America. I just want to start preempting this, that this ship, I think, is holding missiles. We see the missiles in the back also kind of look like bears. I'm wondering if this is our start of our silent war with Russia. Okay, our ships being moved into areas where it's creating, this silent terror war between the U.S. and America. We see this scene with the oil. We see all the rain in the background. I think this is representing the sturgeon moon, so giving us just a time frame that some sort of oil event is going to happen around August 19th of 2024. This carries on into when we get our eclipse of August 2nd, with the Star of David appearing below the Statue of Liberty. Timed perfectly with the breaking of the Statue of Liberty, because I think on November 5th, with the culmination of the election year, we have the election on November 5th, and there's going to be some sort of event that breaks liberty, divides the two sides of America. Then we have this strange orphic scene. I think this is showing us a birthing of an Antichrist or some sort of character coming on the world scene. So I want to cover this, as there's been some more predictive programming with movies and everything pointing us to that this is some sort of ominous thing being born here. This would end 2024, and we would get a cutscene on January 29th, which jumps us into the Year of the Snake, year of 2025. And this is where the big war kicks off. So March 13th, we have the confirmation of the blood eclipse. Here's the television dissipates the blood red eclipse of March 13th. March 29th, I think, is confirmed with the eclipse of the earring that the television character is wearing. During this scene, we have the child laying on the ground with the snake, okay, the Year of the Snake, out of his head. I think all these wars, everything that's happening from 2024 is wearing everybody completely out. Everybody's just tired, exhausted, and this is timing out perfectly with this 1,028 days. Okay, it happened on June 3rd, 2022, this protest, and 1,028 days later would land us on March 27th, 2025. So like all this is happening all at the same time, and then we get our big event, our official war, markets crash, war declared. We have an attack in Turkey, which I'll cover later, May through September, so war begins in the Islamic world. We see in the collapsing of the temple of the mosque, the confirmation of the September 21st eclipse, and then we jump into the cutscene where peace is removed and the butterfly thing is burned up. So expect war starting around the end of March, right through 2025. So let's cover each one kind of individually. So the first scene of 2024, this event, these I've shown before, this looks exactly like the main island of Hawaii, and it's not the ship that's moving, it's the islands that are spinning as the ship hits it. So what's causing this 2024, okay, Hawaiian event? We see the CIA symbol on Osama. I think these missiles in the background also seem to show like bears. They look like bears, okay? Russia has always been known as the Russian bear, right? This whole idea. So I want to talk about the fact that NATO in the last day just told us that we all have to plan for war with Russia. Okay, it's just inevitable. So I'm wondering whether this is kind of the start, is Russia begins moving ships in and around the islands of Hawaii. There's this breakdown of communications, this geopolitical breakdown, which is helping promote the division of the world, right? One side versus the other, and playing into the hands of the elections worldwide of, you know, dividing everybody into one side or the other, preparing everybody for this big war where everyone has to pick a side. There's more programming of this war with Russia. There's a new movie called The ISS, where down below on Earth, there's a nuclear event between the US and America, and up in the ISS, they have their own little war between the Russians and the US, okay? Not only that, we have The Economist magazine posturing this red versus blue, right? It's just they're preparing everybody for the breaking. Trump versus some woman. It looks like Nikki Haley or something for this competition for the Republican thing, and then is there going to be some woman for the Democrats? Okay, it's endless, but it just seems like they're prepping us for this silent war with Russia. So if I just go back to this event, if this happens on American soil, I'm wondering whether it's blamed on some sort of hacking event or, you know, terror thing where they can link it back to somebody, you know, worldwide in Russia to start the ball rolling. Other elections that are happening in 2024, there's many worldwide, specifically in NATO countries. So expect the world to, you know, elect the rights in the East, lefts in the West. Make sure one side picks one side. We have Russia and Ukraine having their elections in March of 2024. I wouldn't expect much to change, especially with our prediction here on The Economist magazine of the two characters who will be playing their parts. All culminating basically with the election in the US, okay, in November. I think this is going to be a big event as it's its own scene in the Ipet Goto. We have the rain in the background, and then this oil seems to drip and fall. I think this is representing, like I said, the sturgeon moon. which would be some sort of oil event around August 19th of 2024, some big spill, some big shortage. This could be, another Russia versus the US, who's going to own the supply chain, that sort of thing. So I'm predicting something really around August 19th of some sort of major oil event. And then election day. So V for Vendetta, right? Nobody will ever forget. Remember the 5th of November. I think there's going to be some sort of big attack, Russian attack into, hacking of the election, blah, 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 blah. And it's going to just create more and more division. I think, too, if we look back at the classroom scene, I covered this in a previous video. I believe that this is Trump sitting here as the character for 2025. So with everything going on, it's showing him sitting with his arms crossed. This character, Trump, is known for this. They even gave it a name, the Roman shield. So I think that with everything even that happens, I still think that they are going to push, excuse me, Trump into the post, okay, to play the character as the great calm before the storm, as the big storm comes. So this orphic egg thing I wanted to cover, I think this is covering or representing the birthing of some character onto the scene. This new movie called The First Omen just so happens to have the same hand. Like, they do all this on purpose, but The First Omen, they have this hand that's holding the baby, similar to how this hand is holding this. I know it's a stretch, but is it? This is what they do with the movies, right, to predict everything. Like, we're seeing all the movies of Civil War and, Leave the World Behind. I think this one is predicting that, well, the birthing of the Antichrist or the dragon is coming. Even the orphic egg that they're showing here, with the snake curling around it, it's known as that, as some primordial being comes into existence by hatching from the egg. Okay. Silent War, I think, just continues. So the television, right, as we go into 2025 in the year of the snake, we see the child worn down. So I think all of these silent wars, all of this is just going to continue on, fear-mongering, more pills, diseases, wearing down of the people, all preparing us for the 1,028 days left, March 27th, 2025. I think that this has been predicted as when they kick off this big war event. Even if you look at this picture, this symbol here, right, of these two items coming together, overlapping each other, I think this is just like war, right? She's tied up. She can't do anything about it as the war goes, as the world comes together in war, okay? Where is it going to start? I've predicted this in a previous video, but I'll just cover it here. I think that it's going to happen in Turkey on the Golden Horn. We see this as a rhinoceros horn. We see this particular golden color that's shown in the background. There's even this specific mosque that has one minaret. Okay, it's this guy here. There's literally not even many mosques in the world that have one minaret tower, let alone in Turkey. So I think that this is where this attack is going to happen. Okay, we even have the bridges that are necessary in the background to signify this. We have the backdrop of the city, the landscape. The mosque is over here, okay? So I think this is going to happen, like I said, between May and September. I wouldn't expect, I don't know if this is going to be the first attack that happens in the war, but it will be one of them, okay? And then after this, we move into the year of the horse, 2026, which I think is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So if I have time, I'll cover this in another video. Thank you.